Coahulla Creek Football Show, presented by Julian Peoples Funeral Homes.
Hello and welcome to the Coahulla Creek Football Show presented by Julian Peoples Funeral Home. I am your host, Brooks Carter, joined by head football coach Drew Carter as we get ready to take a look back at last week's game at North Murray and look ahead to our season finale at Ringgold this week. Coach, recording a little bit later than usual this week. I will admit off the top of the show, those who don't know what I do for my full-time job, I work in TV news for a local ABC affiliate, and something pretty big going on in our country next Tuesday with the election, and it's pretty. So my work schedule has been pretty demanding. So we appreciate Colt Country's patience and us getting this up a few days after we usually like to get it up. But nonetheless, Coach, a fun first half against North Murray, a really exciting beginning to the game. But just not enough gas in the tank to kind of finish it off and complete the game that you would the way you wanted to in the second half.
Yeah, you're right. And the unfortunate part about that was what I told our kids after the game is I felt like we played better than what the scoreboard said. But when you miss a couple of opportunities from some explosive plays, and then you give up a handful of explosive plays like our defense did at times, things can kind of get away from you when you're playing a team that's got some talented players like North Murray does. So unfortunate that we weren't able to continue with that fast start, like you said. But I was really proud of the physicality that we played with on both sides of the ball. I was proud that we were able to string some drives together offensively. I feel like that was probably our most efficient game. We hit some big plays, obviously. But we only had 2, 3 and outs the whole game. Other than that, we were able to move the football, flip field position, and not put our defense in bad situations.
Yeah, and one of the things you talked about with me was kudos to North Murray, the quarterback Hudson Hewlett. He's probably one of the best players. I would imagine he'll be a first-team All-Region player in our region this year. Really good player on both sides of the football, really dynamic, and we've run into a few of those teams that have guys like that this year. Obviously, Rockmart had several. North Cobb Christian had a few guys like that. Chattooga, you look at what Zayden Cook is doing. I mean, I think he ran for like 450 yards this past week. We've with this tough schedule we've had this year, we've run into a handful of teams that just have some of those really, really good football players on them that are tough to stop.
Yeah, we have. We don't ever want to take anything away from those type of players. But what we've got to do as a football team is understand how important, doing your job and playing within the fundamentals that go with that job. Because at any given moment when you're playing guys like that, they can make you wrong and they can make you look silly. The hopeful part for that with us is we feel like some of these guys that have been key contributors and guys we've had to lean on this year, as they continue to grow and get a couple more years experience, the next couple of years are going to be really fun to watch for the Colts that are rolling up through here that are sophomores and juniors right now.
Certainly so. And, we can talk about that a little bit later in the show or as we, have our game recap or our season recap show a little bit later on here after the season concludes tomorrow night. But let's get into recapping last week's game, Coach, starting with the offensive side of the ball. I felt like the quick start really caught North Murray off guard. You had a great play dialed up off the first snap of the ball. Now, did you walk me through this from a coaching standpoint? Obviously, you knew y'all prepped for that in game prep during the week. You knew you were going to run that play your first time out there. Did you want the football? Did you accept the football? Is that something you wanted to put your offense out there first, or did the offense just happen to be out there first?
Yeah, we wanted it. I don't even remember what happened with the coin toss, but if we won it, we wanted the ball. That for one reason, because we knew we had if that didn't hit for a touchdown, we were counting on it being an explosive right off the bat. We felt like we had a good series of plays scripted to start the game and get us rolling. But we also didn't want their offense out there eating up half the first quarter either. So it's kind of two parts that we were wanting to attack there. But yeah, we saw it. Like I said, we knew that they were aggressive in all parts of their defense. And we were able to fake the screen out there to Andrew. I mean, Andrew's had a good couple of weeks, so we knew he would grab their attention with us trying to get the ball to him. And we're able to get it to another playmaker of ours, Tyler Douglas, right behind that.
Yeah, 72 yards in the opening play from scrimmage. Don't know if you knew this. That's the second longest pass play in school history. 76 yards, the longest from Case Kinnaman to Manny Dominguez a couple of years ago versus either Bremen or Lafayette. I can't remember which game that was in, but second longest pass play in school history. So pretty cool from that standpoint. Then you come out with the fake PAT, throw it out to Jackson Lowry. I tell you, Waylon did a heck of a job too, getting rid of the football. Kind of gave us a little bit of a Doug Flutie look there. Jumped in the air and threw it. Now Doug Flutie had to do that because he was about 5'5", but Waylon a little bit bigger than that. But really well executed play, caught them off guard on the 2-point conversion.
Yeah, we felt like as soon as we scored on a big one like that we would either get them emotional trying to block the kick or taking a play off. So either way, we felt like we could steal a point there, and we were able to do it. So off we were going, and then we mentioned the fast start. Offense comes back out after our defense gives up a score to make it an 8-7 game. And they're able to put together another really quality drive, steady right down the field. I think we ended up having to have a fourth down conversion as we got close to the red zone and we kept rolling. So a lot of good from the beginning of the game with our offense because it was a balanced attack. We ran the football pretty well. We were able to complete some balls down the field. We threw some intermediate balls. Andrew had the reverse that converted the fourth down, I believe. Good in the red zone situationally there. So really proud of what we're able to do to start the game and how all that started coming together because that was what we want to look like as an offense.
So a guy I would like to give a shout out to. You mentioned a few of the offensive plays that got things going on the first two possessions. A critical play that picked up some good yardage, but almost was just a shoestring away from picking up a ton more yardage. Maddox Jackson's looked probably has had some of his best touches the last couple of weeks versus Union County and North Murray. He's a guy who I feel like he's done a really good job in pass protection, and has kind of been an unsung hero at times because of the way that we roll Waylon out, and he's a small guy, but he's physical and he's quick. And I feel like he's always just a step away from popping one, and he hasn't really gotten that opportunity a lot this year. He's kind of gotten eaten up a lot for only 2-3 yard gains. He had a big conversion on a screen pass a couple of weeks ago. He had a couple of carries that popped off for probably his longest of the season for intermediate gains. He's a guy who's so close to busting one. I can't wait to see when it finally happens.
Yeah, that'll do wonders for his confidence. And I mean, the things that you're talking about right now have helped his confidence. He's starting to see things in the game slowing down for him. He's not just running up into the line of scrimmage. He's setting things up and setting his blocks up. And, you mentioned him being so valuable in pass protection. I feel like that's why he's able to help us in the screen game because he's so good in that pass protection. And then he's able to slip behind the defense and we get some nice things set up for him in the screen game.
Moving over to the defensive side of the ball, one of the things that you talked about with me, and I know in with Jenny, one of our writers, was you felt like the team played pretty. Y'all challenged the team physically this week. It was going to be a physical game, and you didn't like how the game finished against Union County the previous week from a physicality standpoint. So that was a big emphasis, and you felt like the team responded accordingly.
Yeah, we knew that if we couldn't stop the inside run game, with their fear and some of their power run game with North Murray, then it'd be a really long and demoralizing night. But anytime that they tried to hit that stuff, man, our pad level was excellent. We were getting through gaps and fitting things like we needed to. Like we talked about to open the show, though, unfortunately, they got a pretty special player at quarterback, and he was able to make dynamic plays against us. But we knew that we had to challenge our team, and they responded, which was unbelievable and awesome on their standpoint, I thought. But because, like I said, when you start giving that stuff up and it's 6, 7, 8 yards a pop right in the A and B gaps, that's demoralizing. It's just a slow death is what it seems like when that starts happening. And I was really proud of the way that they were able to play on the line of scrimmage defensively.
Yeah, certainly so. And some of the standouts in the game on the defensive line included Chevy Joyce, who had a season high in tackles with 6 tackles, and a few of those for losses in the backfield. He's up to, I think 9 tackles for loss on the season. He and Jackson both are in the top 10 in the region in tackles for loss on the year. So both of them having really special seasons as juniors here.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about it. It seems like every week the skill set that we have there and the energy that he plays with. And you saw it again on display Friday night. And when you play a team like this, you've got to be disciplined with that too, because sometimes it can get boring and monotonous, or you feel like you start guessing as a defensive lineman when you're having to come down. Maybe the quarterback's pulling the ball out and getting around the corner. He didn't do that. So tip of the cap to Chevy of how he was able to play sound and discipline and continue to do his job through the game.
One other player you wanted to mention was Kobe King, who one thing I've noticed, I'm the one who kind of does who compiles the stats to put on our website each week. So I see what the totals are week to week, season totals, and how much they jump after each game. He had probably one of the largest increases in tackles. He doesn't get a lot of opportunities to tackle people, but when you play an offense like this, maybe you get a few more opportunities than you usually would playing the cornerback position.
That's right. And we, our scheme, we're trying to get things strung out, running side to side a lot. And a lot of times he is that coming up late, whether it be a sweep or some sort of screen, he's coming up late to finish that thing off or clean it up. And man, he did a really good job. And I think we talked about that a couple of times this season, of how much Kobe's progressed from last year as a sophomore, first-year starter, to this year, how much more comfortable he is and fitting up in the run game or fitting against screen passes and breaking up on short passes and finishing them the way you want them to finish. I think he had a really solid physical tackle. I remember they threw one out to the flats and might even broke up the pass, if I remember right. But just coming up physical, and then like we were talking about, we started the show, a lot of times he's by himself too. It's not like he's gang tackling people. It's one-on-one in the open field, and he's making the play.
Yeah, with the way that that the offensive side of the ball has evolved over the last 10, 20 years, corner has become one of the most difficult positions on the field to play. You got to be good in coverage. You got to be good in run support, coming up tackling, and there's a lot of chances to get exposed when you play corner. And, I think I can't think of a ton of times that has happened to Kobe this year where he's been exposed from his cornerback position. So it's been nice to see him progress as a second-year starter. Also had 3 catches for 50 yards on offense. So a pretty productive night offensively as well for Kobe. So excited to see what he can do as he transitions into his senior year next year with a talented junior class and what will be a talented sophomore class behind them too. But Coach, when we come back, we're going to get into previewing Ringgold, a team that is very similar to Murray County. We've played them every single year since we've started varsity football, and it's become one of our rivalries for sure. So finishing it out with some nice local rivalries. During the break, you'll see this week's Senior Spotlight presented by Lowry's Tree Service, and that will be the senior kicker, Brett Paz. Stick around. This is the Coahulla Creek Football Show presented by Julian Peoples Funeral Home.
This is your Alpha Insurance Player of the Week.
Whether you're looking for a taste of classic seasonal sweetness or need to satisfy your candy cravings, DQ has something for every fan this season. So hurry into DQ on Cleveland Highway today and see what else is in store for fans all season long.
Introducing BioLite, the world's first IV in a bottle. BioLite is a medical-strength hydration solution physician-formulated to help relieve the discomforts of dehydration, like upset stomach and fatigue. If you want powerful hydration relief, try it today.
Junior's Building Materials, the Tri-State's headquarters with building products for builders, contractors, remodeling projects, and do-it-yourselfers. Junior's is the largest dealer stocking Trex Decking, the world's #1 composite decking brand. Trex isn't just boards and balusters, but a new way to live outdoor and virtually maintenance-free. For all your building or remodeling needs, shop Junior's Building Materials.
Junior's Building Materials, we always come through for you.
Now for this week's Senior Spotlight.
My name is Brett Paz. I'm number 27, and I'm kicker and punter. I would say that my favorite moment was my first PAT. It was just a great atmosphere to be in, and everyone was so excited for me, and it was our first points scored, so I felt like I was part of something special. I played soccer for 12 years, and the football team needed a kicker, and all my friends kind of brought it up to me, and I feel like that was a good fit for me, and I wanted to try something new. I would say Coach Brewer yelling at us and like just getting us all hyped up when we're going to the practice field. My favorite thing about my teammates is no matter how many field goals I miss or bad punts, they're always just going to bring me up off of my knees and just bring me up to keep my head up and just keep kicking. I play soccer, basketball, I run track, and I just love hanging out with family and friends. I would say my parents. My parents is my biggest influence, always bringing me up when I'm down and just pushing me to do better with all of the stuff that I do. I would say just being able to be something special. Like, there's not a lot of good kickers, and I feel like I could be something special if I just put my mind to it. I want to go to med school, and I want to kick in college.
Welcome back to the Coahulla Creek Football Show presented by Julian Peoples Funeral Home. Coach, this week we head on the road to Ringgold, a place that we've never won before. We've beat Ringgold twice in the, I think, last 4 or 5 years. Both of those times have been at home in 2019, and then last year a thriller at home in 2023. Probably my favorite game that I've ever called. The comeback in the fourth quarter, we led the whole game, and then they took the lead, and then we score on a 4th and long on a 30-yard touchdown pass from Chase Ward to Nate Tilley, and then we finish it out with a defensive stand. Really an exciting game last year, and it's been an exciting game when these two teams have gotten together recently. In recent years, this is always a quality team. I think Ringgold is now clinched their maybe fourth or fifth consecutive playoff appearance. So it's another quality opponent, another team that we know is going to present some challenges.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sure that's if they need bulletin board material or anything, I'm sure that game that you kind of recap there is probably a sour taste in their mouth, as it would be for us if it was the other way around. So I'm sure they've got that fresh on their mind from last year, but they're also trying to get momentum going into the playoffs. Like you said, a quality team. They're unique on defense. They're a very similar defense to North Murray, like we saw last week. That's a little bit different. They play that 3 safety defense. They feel like they've got some small athletic guys that run to the ball really well, and they utilize that scheme. It's a little bit different, kind of tough to prepare for because it's different. and they fly around the field. And then offensively, they've got a quality running back and a quality receiver that they do a great job of getting the ball to in different ways. And we'll have our hands full, and it'll be a tough test for our defense to contain those guys, because they're the type of players that you can stop them all game, and then all of a sudden they pop the big play on you because they've got explosive potential.
Yeah, senior quarterback as well, who we didn't see last year. He was actually injured, but he's back this year. I think he finished the season with him last year with a nice push to get him to the postseason. So they're a pretty senior heavy team. I know they've got a lot of guys. The running back you're talking about, Jeremiah Frost, he's only a sophomore, but a lot of the other talent on this team is pretty senior heavy. So, and with a win, they have a chance to host a playoff game. So they're going to be very motivated to win this game. With the way that the power rankings are broken down, they have an opportunity to get in there and host a playoff game. And we've got a big chance to play spoiler here. I would love to go on the road and win at Ringgold, but what has made that a difficult place to play? You've talked about how when we have gone up there to play against them, it's been a difficult place to win a football game. I think 2 years ago, the last time we were there was on the CW Chattanooga, and I think we came into that game 6-1, really carrying a lot of momentum, and we jumped out early with a 7-0 lead, but really struggled the rest of the game after that.
Yeah, they had a really talented team that year. For one, gave up some explosive plays that game, and really missed on some opportunities that game. But it's a tough place to play. That they've got a really good band that's loud. Their fan base is really good. They're a proud fan base, so it's rowdy there. They've got the Jumbotron that pumps in some extra noise with the stuff going on there. So it's a tough place to play, and if they start getting some momentum going, it's easy to get rattled and lose your focus when those things happen. So, hopefully the way we were able to play against them last year gives us some confidence this year, and maybe we can get our footing a little early and get some positive momentum rolling for ourselves in there.
I was talking with Ringgold's athletic director yesterday on the phone, and he had a lot of nice things to say about our program. Thinks we're doing a really good job. Thinks you're doing a really good job specifically. And so that was really nice to hear him say. But one of the things we were talking about was, how sometimes the way that schedule breaks or the way that kind of your classes of your players stack up, where this year we've got a smaller senior class after having two of the larger senior classes in school history. And having to rely on so many young players, it can create a perfect storm where you have a season kind of record-wise like we've had. And he referenced their season in 2019. Ringgold went 0-10 that year. 3 years later, they won 10 games and made it all the way to the quarterfinals. Looking at kind of where we're at, he compared our season to what they went through in 2019. I thought that was pretty accurate.
Yeah, I'd say it's a fair comparison, which, you hate to look that far ahead with what we're doing. But, everything we do is we're trying to be the best we can now, but also how can we be better for the future too? So I definitely see the comparison there. And maybe that gives us the most confidence because you do see how we've progressed through the season with these young, inexperienced guys, and you hope that is the reality of the situation. But, the bottom line is we don't want to look that far ahead. And the challenge we've given our kids this week is, for the guys that are going to be departing as seniors, very few kids, very few teams get to finish with a win. It's unfortunate that's the opportunity that we have this year. But the majority of people that play and the majority of the people that make it the playoffs are going to finish with a loss. So we get an opportunity to finish with a win for those guys and send them out the right way, hopefully. And then for the guys that will be returning, we want to finish with some momentum going into next year. If this is what we did, we finished on a good note. and some confidence going into the offseason.
Yeah, certainly so. It's kind of bittersweet because I know you finished your high school career with a playoff loss down at Mays High School, and for us, for my senior year, we started 0-4, but finished 5-5. So we had all that positive momentum to finish out the year and kind of stall the team that we thought we should have been. But we finished with a win on the road against a team that made the playoffs. Would be kind of a similar situation to this week. So it is special when you're able to go out and win. Obviously, you'd love to be in the playoffs, but if your last high school football memory as a senior winds up being when you walked off the field for the last time you were with your brothers and you won, that's also pretty special too.
Yeah, that's the mission, and that's where we're hoping this thing finishes up Friday night.
Yeah, so should be an exciting game. Anytime these two teams have gotten together, it seems to be that way, and excited to watch us up on the road at Ringgold Friday night. When we come back, we will talk a little bit more about those seniors with their final game coming up here, the six seniors that we've had this year, and we'll talk a little bit about them, and Coach Carter will give some thoughts on their impact on the program. So stick around. This is the Coahulla Creek Football Show presented by Julian Peoples Funeral Home.
Your roof is the most critical part of your home, especially in the heat of the summer. That's why OC Roofing Systems is offering free roof inspections all summer long. Families in Ellijay have trusted OC Roofing Systems time and time again for our award-winning service and countless 5-star reviews. Protect your roof this summer. Visit ocroofingsystems.com today and schedule your free roof inspection.
Nature never repeats itself, and neither does Mohawk's Techwood hardwood flooring. Techwood is unique and one of a kind. Your floor should be long-lasting and beautiful, like the relationships you create at home. Choose Techwood for a stunning, natural hardwood floor for everyday performance. More moments are made on Mohawk.
My name is Shamar Collier. I coach the cornerbacks, and this is my first year. Well, as I've been playing the game since I was in middle school, I just kept on finding myself, coaching up the younger guys, building them up even through high school and college. And I guess this is my calling. God called me to come coach the kids and help them get to a place they want to be. It's a little bit of different, kids just keep on getting faster, getting bigger, but the game's still gonna be the game. It's still gonna be played the right way. It's still gonna be hard on the kids, but it's a good type of hard. I'm kind of a mixture of both, lead by example, and I'm also a high energy, passion type of guy. The kids, man, I love the kids. I want to see them go to a place they want to go to, whether they've been going to college or even in their professional life. I would like to see them, be a better man. I play outside of football, football is my life, but outside of football, I play video games, watch movies, and spend time with my family. Like I said, seeing the kids become men, see them going to play college football or going into the workforce and become a man, that's like an amazing feeling for me as a coach.
Welcome back to the Coahulla Creek Football Show presented by Julian Peoples Funeral Home. Coach, I know we just obviously talked about this is the last chance for these 6 guys to get out on the field. Carson, Andrew, Isaac, Jaden, Hudson, and Brett Paws. And I know y'all hosted a senior dinner last night. Was that the coaching staff that hosted that, I imagine?
Yeah, the quarterback club sponsors it. It's just one last chance for the coaching staff and the seniors to be together. Kind of a laid back, more intimate, personal, I guess, type environment. Just be around each other. And it's pretty special to be able to do that. But because that's kind of been the topic this week. Obviously we got a football game we're trying to prepare for and send these guys out the right way. And the thing that I've continued to tell them, without being too sentimental and being too distracting, is, this is a week full of laughs for you. Like Wednesday was the last time that they were going to walk off the field after a real practice. We walked through on Thursday mornings. So, keeping those things in perspective and fresh on their mind, and soaking those things in has kind of been the message, because I've been through that twice now, as a high school player and a college player. And the reality of the situation is it's not golf. It's not basketball or softball, something like that you can play into your adulthood. I played in a couple of those alumni games, and it's just something that you don't do as you get on up into age. It's a sport that leaves you really quickly, and you've put more into it than anything else, because it's one of the few sports where you practice and you prepare way more than you play. And you don't realize that at the time until you look back.
Yeah, certainly so. I would agree with that. And what has your message been to those 6 seniors going into their final game? And furthermore, what has your message been to these younger players? Because the vibe I've gotten from them is they're really eager. Obviously, we've talked a lot about the future, but this is an opportunity to recognize what these 6 seniors have meant to the program. And the vibe I've gotten from them is they want to send them out on top.
Yeah, 100%, because, a big tip of the cap to our seniors. A lot of people don't think about this, but, they were 8th graders coming into the 9th grade when pandemic hit. So we lost those guys in the transition of having no spring practice, nothing in May or June. So we were totally disconnected from them. And I think that's a big factor of the size of the class that we have. We've lost some guys, and they never came back out. We had some of them that did come back out. We had a few of them that have played all 4 years. So it's a big tip of the cap to how those guys can handle adversity, their commitment level to our program, and what they've meant to our program and the young kids behind them.
Yeah, as I mentioned, 6 seniors. Carson, who won't be suited out, he's kind of ended the year with an injury that's been unfortunate. But Jaden, Isaac, Hudson, Andrew, and Brett. Jenny did a great job interviewing all them in the article this week. I had some great quotes from them. If you haven't checked that out, go on our website and look at that. It'll be our last time having Ava and Jenny do some work with us too. I'm sure they'll do some end of season wrap up stuff for us. But I know they've enjoyed it too. So for just to kind of set the scene of what we'll do the next couple of shows, we will have a typical recap show, just like we did this past, like we've done all season long. Maybe be a little shorter because we won't have an opponent to preview the next week. But then we will come back with a big grand, maybe a few weeks from now, where Coach Carter and I will kind of talk about players and moments and stuff that we want to recognize and whatnot. But we'll have an end of season wrap up show coming up a few weeks, probably later on in November. So just wanted to kind of fill y'all in on that. So Coach, thank you for your time this week. For Coach Drew Carter, I am Brooks Carter. Thank you for watching another edition of the Coahulla Creek Football Show presented by Julian Peoples Funeral Home. We'll see you back next week to recap the Ringgold game. Thanks for tuning in, guys.